do is
take direction! Hiya folks, I'm here in the New Hope Lounge and I'm speaking to Lee regarding the trial coming up, the upcoming trial at Manchester High Court regarding the injunction that was put into place by the High Court last year, proposed by Cuadrilla. It's an inhumane injunction as far as we're concerned. We think it's an abusive process. We think it's a slant on everybody's democratic rights. The injunction put into place doesn't allow any form of protest, any form of slow walking logistics wagons, any lock-ons, any serfs, etc. I spoke to Jag yesterday and I've got Lee with me. Lee's one of the other defendants, one of the three, and I'm just going to chat to Lee today. So how you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, sort of. I'm feeling a little bit anxious about what's going to happen in court, obviously. But I know what had happened was the right thing to do, to challenge the injunction. Yeah, I'm just anxious, but I'm glad there's a lot of people around that's helping to feel better about the situation.
Yeah, there is a lot of people around, mate. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of support going with you. There's a bus from Preston New Road that's going, and I think there's a few other affinity groups and friends that will be there as well, mate. So that's all good on that score. You've been to court before, you're no stranger to courts, are you?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, just give us a bit of background of yourself, mate. I mean, you've been here now a while. How long have you been in there?
I had an eye on the fracking corporations for a while, since the bottom Moss protest, and I always had a feeling that I wanted to be able to protest myself, but there was like a kind of the fear that how would you live and what would you do, and so at that point in my life I was just watching by and like trying to do the best I could do to support that. And then it came to Cuadrilla doing the fracking in Blackpool, and I saw a cry for help, and at that point in my life I just split up from a long-term relationship. I had no ties, so to speak, and I just summed up the courage and thought, right, this is my time to go and make a difference and help out and protest against this insidious corporation that we know that's known as fracking, with a 100% failure rate. There's nothing good about it whatsoever. Fossil fuels, they should not be used anymore. There's a lot of people speaking up about this at the moment. We just need to go into alternative methods. There's no ifs and buts about it.
Yeah, get some renewables. Get some renewables in the bank. I remember you before you came here. You was a keyboard warrior, and you was a Mr. Share. Yeah, because I remember. But I'm glad you did come here, bro. I really am. How important is protest to you, mate?
It's a detrimental right, isn't it? We need protest for things to be fair. That's the whole idea of protest, is like when something appears to be unfair, then there needs to be people to speak up about that. Yeah. The present time we're in, a lot of people have their hands tied with looking after children, jobs, mortgages, blah de blah de blah, all that sort of stuff, and it sort of prevents people from being able to, a lot of people from being able to protest. That's why people like us with no ties, nothing to hold us back, and to be that voice for the wider the community and just do the right thing, really.
Yeah, protest is important for a healthy democracy, mate. So what was your thoughts when they first put this injunction into place? I mean, you'd been here a while. We'd all been protesting together as well. You know, it was before I sort of picked up a video camera. Well, it was just, the injunction wasn't, but the thing was before I picked up a video camera, so I was protesting in a different format. So when they put that into place, you'd already done a few actions, yeah? Am I right?
Yeah.
So what was your thoughts when they put that into place?
My first thought was it's just breaking down the right to protest. It's something that it's like the right to protest has been bought out by a conglomerate that has got the money to actually buy the law, and that is not democratic in my eyes.
It almost seems that way, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The way they went through the court system, and it's quite a. If anybody doesn't know, the injunction process is quite an expensive process. Not only is it expensive to get the protesters to court if the injunction is breached, but it's also expensive to raise that injunction, go through the court system. So Cuadrilla have spent quite a substantial amount of money on this, along with the high courts, and they were advised by the police to put an injunction into place to deter future protests. That was on the Freedom of Information Act. So Jag's got 3 charges against him. How many charges have you got against you, mate?
I've got 4.
4, okay. And am I right in thinking that they created a file? It wasn't just one specific day, it was over a course?
Yeah, they created a massive file.
So the women in white are going there, I understand, and they're going to do a vigil, a silent protest.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, if anybody don't know who the women in white are, the women in white have been doing a call for calm down at Preston New Road every Wednesday, and they're into. Help me out here. How many?
There's about 40, 50.
No, I mean how many call for calms have they done?
How many? It's nearly at the 100th.
Yeah. So it's nearly 100. So that's 100 days, 100 Wednesdays that they've been coming here. There's like Lee said, there's about 40 or 50 of them, and they're going to do a silent vigil, denoting the injunction, silencing people. Yeah. And is that how you feel as well? Do you feel it's sort of trying to take your rights away, trying to remove your rights?
We're basically trying to be silenced. What else will be left to do to protest if injunctions take all them rights away?
Yeah. Where do you see the future of protest if they're going to find people guilty for basically protesting? Because all you've done was peaceful protest.
Yeah.
You've not done anything wrong. No. So, where do you see the future of protest
Well, it's going to be crushed if there's no sense seen about how protest is supposed to be. If it's peaceful protest, why should that not be allowed? Yeah.
What sort of forms of protest do you mean when you say peaceful protest? Just tell anybody, so if they're not quite sure what you mean, peaceful protest, what does that entail?
Yeah, peaceful protest is about slow walking the trucks. That doesn't normally end up as peaceful because the police tend to roughshod you out of the way, push it in bushes, push it onto the concrete. So the other forms of peaceful protest is putting his arms in tubes and lying at the gates, just to show that there is a resistance to something that everybody's not happy with what's going on. Yeah. And the other form of peaceful protest is to climb on top of a truck.
Surfing, also known as surfing, yeah? I mean, 86% of Lancashire said no to fracking. It was overturned. And like you say, peaceful protest, that's all that's ever gone. That's the only thing that's ever happened down here. And I mean, you know yourself, what's the policing been like down here? It's been quite brutal at times, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Broken bones, lots of bruises. It's not been a nice experience. And I've seen the police in a totally different light, because to act that way to peaceful people is just isn't right.
Did you have any connection with the cops before you came here? Did you ever work so closely with them? Should I say, not with them, but like as we do on a daily basis. We see them every day. We see them act. We see them or not act, so to speak. Did you have any sort of mix-ins with the cops beforehand?
No, not at all. No.
So did you trust the police?
I've never really trusted the police 100%, because that'd be just silly trusting something 100%. But I had a bit higher regards to them before than now.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it at Preston New Road, where they've targeted women, they've targeted disabled protesters, they've targeted peaceful protests, And the reasons for the lock-ons were a sort of way of being able to gain that protest. So what was happening down here, and if you recall that the cops were sort of removing everybody's form of protest. They weren't policing it right. So the next step on that was to be lock-ons, and that's the only thing you can do. I mean, it's already a proven sort of, well, it's proven and practiced, should I say, and it's is the lock-on, because the 21st century sort of in forms of protest, you have to get your body to that specific point at that time. So like, when I say that, for instance, like if there's something coming up the road, then the police kettle either side of the road. Yep. So these days you're not allowed to get anywhere near your protest. Hence the reason everybody locks on, or hence the reason everybody occupies the ground, in order to sort of gain a little bit of protest, in order to get that little bit of protest that genuinely is being taken away from the protester or the modern day protester. The rights of passage of democracy are being removed, and certainly the rights of any form of peaceful protest, be it sitting down, laying down, surfing a truck, because it's all peaceful protest, and Lee's been a part of all that, and you can see it diminishing, can't you?
Yeah, it's not only here that it happens as well, it's worldwide, isn't it? That method is used worldwide as a peaceful protest.
Yeah, and at more than just Preston New Road. We're seeing it now at West Newton. We're seeing it at Tinker. We've seen it at West Newton. We've seen it at Crawberry Hill. We've seen it at Barton Moss. We've seen it at Upton. We've seen it in Cheshire. We've seen it at Ellesmere Port. We've seen it at Davyhulme, and the list goes on. The list goes on and on and on and on. Even in Ireland, we've seen it in Standing Rock, and it's a very difficult time to protest. And again, what you did, mate, was a very, very brave action in this current climate, as the politicians would say. In this current climate, what you did was a very, very brave action. It'll be interesting to see what the outcome is, and I don't mean that in any sort of trivial way at all.
Yeah.
I'm 100% behind you. You know that, don't you, bro? And I'll be there. I'll be there at the court with you. Is there anything you want to say to anybody before on camera while we've got you? I mean, you don't feel that you need to or anything like that. I know that the support will be there, mate. Yeah. That's the one thing you can count on. Yeah. You know, I've been to jail. I think it's no secret I went to jail through fracking. And what I will say is, the people on the outside eased my sentence, okay, and I wasn't in that long. I was in a month and a half, but you'd be in, if they sentenced you, I think you'd be in less. So, but is there any sort of messages you want to give to anybody?
Yeah, I'd like to say a really big thank you to everybody that's supported me in the past and to the present day. Without you, I couldn't be here. I've just got a lot of appreciation for the movement, and there is a lot of nice people with good hearts, and we just want to see the right thing to be done and to end the fossil fuel and make a transition into renewables. That's all we're asking for, nothing.
And it's not a big ask. It's not a big ask, mate. We just want world peace, security stop beating us up, and no fossil fuels.
That's it. It shouldn't be a big ask, but
it's not a big ask. Thanks, Lee. Thanks for talking to us, mate. So Lee's going to be on trial this week from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's the 25th to the 28th. It's an important trial, folks. I keep saying this. It's an abusive process. It's an abuse of our democratic rights, and this could be a very sort of important trial for the future and the future of democracy in terms of peaceful protests. So if you can make it on any of the days, if you can make it on all of the days, that would be amazing. But if you can make it one of the days out of the 4 or 2 or 3, it'll be more than appreciated. And there's a lot of hearts that will be there, mate, and a lot of hearts want to thank you as well, mate. Cheers for talking to me, mate.